I've got another floor job. I gotta refinish this hardwood floor here. They found this beautiful floor under the carpet. Who would have thought? Let me show you the process. The white stuff here is just residue left from the carpet underlayment, but what I'm really looking for is this right here, shellac. Gets an alligator skin texture like that over many years, and it was used in a lot of homes, a lot of older homes. We'll get into that. Starting off with some 40 grit paper for my drum sander. With the drum sander ready to go, we're going to do a light touchdown with a light takeoff at the end. We don't want any divots in the floor. 40 grit especially can do some damage. Now there have been many floors that I have done that have been in worse shape than this one, and I actually start off with 24 grit, which is super aggressive, but it gets the job done. And then you work up the chain of command in sandpaper grits as you go. But as you see here, it's doing a pretty good job. I sweep as I go. I like to have a clean workspace. And as you can see here, this is what shellac does to the paper. Gums it right up, and it becomes a pain. Um, Especially with the drum sander, it has super high RPMs. It's just going to heat it up. It's going to smear it, and it's a mess. This is what it does to the oscillator. Same thing. It's a mess. To alleviate that, I have a carbide blade scraper. It helps a little bit here, and as you can see, I did the floor. I'm working on the edges, but I scrape a little bit of the top layer as I go, and I come back through with the edger. It doesn't gum up as quick, but it definitely helps. You can see here where I've scraped, and I'll come back through with the edger. And as you can guess, the edger gums up just as quick. You're going to go through the paper. That's how the shellac is. It's a nightmare. But I have tried strippers. I've tried a soy-based stripper, in which it does work, but I found it's just a gooey mess, very very messy. Here the room is to 60 grit, so I did 40 grit, 60 grit with both the edger and the drum sander. I'm gonna come back through with the HTF oscillator, working my way up, 80 grit up to 120 grit. What I'm focusing on here is blending the lines from the edger and the drum sander. I'm going to get it all blended. And here the room is completed. As you can see, those gouges in the middle of the floor, I really wish I could have got those out, but they're pretty deep. So they just weren't able to come out. But for a 100-year-old house, that's pretty good. Now for some areas I use the Festool RO150. This is a great machine. It's my favorite sander. And I've got all the different paper for it, obviously, different grits. But for hard to get areas, the Festool was a great tool. Getting ready for stain here. As you can see, I'm using a roller and I'm using some rags, and obviously I have my latex gloves and a respirator on, but I basically do a section at a time and wipe. Now the longer you let the stain sit, the darker it gets. My clients like the color of the stain, and that's me putting it down and wiping it right off. So that was the color and the hue that they liked, and so that's what I went with. Now, I didn't have my knee pads on in this clip. It must have been early in the week. My knees weren't really hurting yet, but knee pads definitely help. I recommend you wear them, as well as the other PPEs. Now here's the room stained. Next we'll get ready for the oil-based clear coat Varathane. I use an applicator like this, 2 blocks and a couple wing nuts on there, and this is the applicator pad that I use. I like these ones. They're microfiber. They seem to do a pretty good job. When I open these, the first thing I do is I shake the pad off somewhere, because there is some lint and some debris that comes off. And you definitely don't want any of that in the clear coat, because when it dries rock hard, those debris will be stuck in there. Now, shellac like this is commonly found, especially in older homes. I've seen it a lot on window trim, and a trick for the window trim is steel wool and denatured alcohol. Seems to work good. What it does is it reconstitutes it, and gives you a nice clean finish. But now for an entire floor like this, obviously I can't do that, so I come through with this with the sanders. Starting in the back of the room, I'm getting ready to apply the clear coat. As you can see, I work from left to right, and I always finish with a full swipe all the way across. That way I have no stop-start lines in the finish. Now, one thing with the oil base is it's going to stink the entire house up, and it stinks really bad. It's just how it is. Usually, I try to steer away from oil based. I like a good water based product, but my clients wanted oil base, so I went with it. Wear a respirator. For hard to get areas, I use a foam brush like this. They come in various sizes, and they're pretty cheap. They work good, especially underneath this radiator here. Here's the first coat, and once this cures for 24 hours, we'll come back through and put the second coat on. First thing I have to do before I put the second coat on is I have to scruff the entire floor. Now we're not sanding the floor, we're just scruffing any nubbies off. Kind of, when it's cured, it kind of feels like a 5 o'clock shadow. So we're coming through, we're knocking off all those. Real fine grit paper on this sander. This is just a drywall sander. After I sweep, I come back through and I tack cloth it. You'd be really surprised how much dust the sweeper doesn't pick up. The tack cloth really gets all the finer dust. Once that's swept in tack cloth, we come back through with the second coat. We'll let this cure for 24 hours and come back and check it. So if you find a beautiful hardwood floor under your carpet and it has shellac, don't fret because it can be redone. It just takes a lot of time.